Being positive in tough times, President Maithripala says he will write to his Russian counterpart over tea export ban. Clearing misunderstandings, Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka defends his country's economic policies.
Because there's some misunderstanding from the outset, particularly from the Western countries.
Calling for a new constitution. Northern Chief Minister Vigneswaran says 13th Amendment was not effective as they expected. Strengthening diplomatic relations. Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak begins 3-day visit in Sri Lanka, marking 6 decades of bilateral ties. Black market transactions. Australian police arrest individual over brokering sales of North Korean missile parts to other countries.
We think he's acting as basically as an economic agent on behalf of North Korea.
Bring you news from home and across the world. This is First at 9 on Derana 24/7. Good evening, I'm Katrina Chang. Now on to your top story tonight. President Maithripala says he will take necessary steps to solve issues faced by retired government officials by the end of next week. He made this remark at a public rally held in Haputale today. A public rally to garner support for the upcoming election was held under the auspices of President Maithripala today.
අපේ රටේ රාජ්‍ය සේවයේ විශ්‍රාමික නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගම් වලින් ලිපි කීපයක් පුවත්පත්වල පළ කරලා තිබෙනවා. ඔවුන්ගේ විශ්‍රාම දීමන විශ්‍රාම වැටුප් සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඇති වෙලා තිබෙන ගැටළු සහගත තත්ත්වයන් පිළිබඳව මම අද මේ රටේ සමස්ත රාජ්‍ය සේවයේ සෑම විශ්‍රාමික රාජ්‍ය සේවකයන්ගම නිලධාරීන්ට මම කියනවා ඉදිරි සතියක් තුල මම මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ निराකරණය කළා රාජ්‍ය සේවයේ සියලු විශ්‍රාමිකයින්ගේ ගැටළු निराකරණය කළා ඔවුන්ට එයින් බලපෑමක් හිරිහැරයක් නොවන විදිහට ඔවුන්ගේ දීමනා පහසුකම් සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඒ අවශ්‍ය වැඩ පිළිවෙල ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවායි කියන එක.
Malaysian Prime Minister Najib bin Tun Abdul Razak arrived in Sri Lanka this morning for a 3-day official visit. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that the Malaysian Premier's visit was upon an invitation of President Maithripala to mark the 60th anniversary of diplomatic ties between the two countries. This will be the first visit of the Prime Minister to Sri Lanka.
Marking his first visit to Sri Lanka, Malaysian Premier Najib bin Tun Abdul Razak arrived in the country this morning, accompanied by a 30-member delegation. His visit is expected to set Malaysia's future direction with Sri Lanka, covering all areas of cooperation including trade and investment, education, tourism, health and human resources. Issues pertaining to regional and international cooperation will also be discussed. Malaysian Premier Razak and President Maithripala will witness the inking of several memoranda of understanding and 3 bilateral agreements in the fields of training, science and technology, communication and bioeconomy. Subsequently, the Malaysian Premier will also pay a 2-day visit to Maldives upon an invitation by the President of Maldives.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe notes that a viable solution for the unprofitable Hambantota port was found through foreign partnership. During a public gathering in Maharagama organised by the United National Party, the Premier said that the current government was able to create a healthy political environment for citizens of the country.
ඕනෑම අදහසක් ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න පුළුවන් අයිතියක් තියෙන රටක් තමයි අපි අද දේශපාලන වශයෙන් ඇති කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඡන්ද පවත්වනවා, කතා කිරීමේ නිදහස තියෙනවා, පාර්ලිමේන්තුව බලය දීලා තියෙනවා, පාර්ලිමේන්තුව ශක්තිමත් කරලා තියෙනවා. අද පාර්ලිමේන්තුව රැස් වෙනවා. ඇමතුරු පමණ නෙමෙයි අගමැතියට මම ගිහින් ප්‍රශ්න වලට පිළිතුරු දෙනවා. විවෘත පාලන ක්‍රමයක් තියෙන්නේ. අපේ වැරදි තියෙනවා නම් ඇමතුරේ වැරදි බාර අරගෙන ඉල්ලලා අස් වෙනවා. අන්න එහෙම ක්‍රමයක් අද අපි මේ රටේ ඇති කරලා තියෙන්නේ. දේශගුණ තත්ත්ව නිසා අද ජීවන වියදම විශාල ලෙස වැඩි වුණා. ඒක අපි පිළිගත්තා. ඒක හේතුව හොයාගත්තා. දැන් සහන මල්ලක් හැටියට ප්‍රධාන භාණ්ඩ 7ක් රටේ හැමතැනටම ලබලා දෙන්න අපි ක්‍රියා කරනවා. අපි ණයගත්තදී හම්බන්තොට වරාය ණයගත්ත සුදුවලියෙක් මත්තල ගුවන්තොටුපළ සුදුවලියෙක් මේ ආරම්භ කරපු වැඩ කටයුතු වලින් ප්‍රයෝජනයක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. අද මත්තල වරාය ණය බේරලා අපිට ලංකාවට ලැබිලා තියෙනවා. ප්‍රධාන වරායක් බවට පත් වෙනවා. මත්තල ගුවන්තොටුපළ ඒ වගේම මාර්තු මාස වෙනකොට අපි අවසන් කරනවා. එදා විශාල සුදුවලි ටික අද අපි ආර්ථිකයට යොදනවා.
Early on Thursday, the Indian External Affairs Ministry said it expects Sri Lanka to be mindful of its security concerns and sensitivities while reacting to the Sri Lankan government handing over Hambantota port to China on a 99-year lease last week. According to Indian media reports, Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar also made it clear that India's relation with Sri Lanka stand on its own and is not dependent on their relations with any third country. Ravish Kumar has said India was confident of the strength of enduring ties with Sri Lanka, which were deep-rooted and multidimensional. Chinese Ambassador Sri Lanka Yi Shin Liang, dismissing opinions of various countries about China's policy as a misunderstanding on their part, clarified that China's relationship with Sri Lanka is purely cooperation and development-oriented. Speaking at a thematic briefing of the 19th Congress of the Communist Party of China, the ambassador added that Sri Lanka is one of the biggest beneficiaries of Chinese policies.
So the Chinese policy is most important right now, for not only for China, but also for the next, at least 5 to 10 years for the world. Because, there's some misunderstanding from the outside, particularly from Western countries. They say this Congress might be established a new hegemony, a new aggressive power. China would like to use its economic power, strength to dominate in some place, particularly in Indian Ocean. So we would like to express not only to those people with the misunderstanding, but also with friends, particularly with French countries. Sri Lanka is one of the most important corporate partner and also sincere brother of China. So if we have any misunderstanding each other on the policy, that must be dilute our efforts.
The 19th National Congress of CPC will not only have a big influence on the future development of China, but also the future development of the world. It is also at an important period when there is a big change in the relations between China and the rest of the world. In terms of economic development, for the past 6 years, the GDP of China has maintained the position as the world number 2 6 years in a row. And since 2008, since the outbreak of the international financial crisis, the contribution to the world economic growth has always been maintained at or above 30%. And this is larger than United States, Japan, zone combined.
Minister of Public Enterprise Development Kabir Hashim, also speaking here, added that Sri Lanka must take the most out of China's One Belt, One Road initiative to develop the island's economy. He added that Sri Lanka will soon ink a pact with China to lease out land in Hambantota for an industrial zone.
As Sri Lankans, we feel that to be a part of this project is a great opportunity which must be grabbed with both hands. This is a stepping stone for Sri Lanka that we must not let go by. Sri Lanka's role in the One Belt, One Road initiative will not end there. In the near future, our two governments will be signing a lease agreement for over 1,200 acres of land near the Hambantota port to set up a state-of-the-art industrial zone. The success of the One Belt, One Road initiative has been based on the ability of China to craft its development projects to ensure that both countries enjoy the benefits.
Submission of nomination papers for 248 local government bodies will commence tomorrow. The second phase will see its conclusion at noon on the 21st of December. Meanwhile, the rejection of 6 nomination papers submitted by the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna was highlighted in the political arena since last night.
රට පෙරලන්න කතා කරනවා. නාම යෝජනා පත්‍ර 6ක් කැන්සල්. ශ්‍රියානි විජේවික්‍රම ගියා. විමල් වීරවංශ උන්නහේගේ වීරකුමාර දිසානායක මන්ත්‍රී ගියා.
අද වෙනකොට යහපාලන ආණ්ඩුවේ නායකයෝ මොනතරම් බය වෙලාද කිව්වොත් ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂයේ ඉන්න සමහර නායකින්න මුදලට ගන්න මට්ටමක් අද උදා වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඔය ගියපු නායකින්ගේ ඒ අතට ලැබිච්ච මුදල කීයද කියලා. ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්න කිසිදු කෙනෙක්ව මෙයාට ලබා ගන්න බෑ.
පෝට්ටුවට නාම යෝජනා හදා ගන්නත් බැරිලු. එහෙමනේ කියන්නේ දැන්. හදා ගන්න බැරුව නෙවෙයි. අපේ 6ක් රිජෙක්ට් වුණා. අපි අධිකරණේ සහාය පතනවා. අපිට විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ යම් යම් මත්වැරදීන් වෙච්ච තැන්වල අධිකරණයෙන් අපිට සාධාරණයක් ඉෂ්ට වෙයි. හිතාමතා රිජෙක්ට් කරාද කියලා අපි දන්නේ නැහැ.
අද විශාල ප්‍රශ්නේ පක්ෂය ඇතුලේ මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා එකම ප්‍රාර්ථනාවේ නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා විපක්ෂ නායක කරන එක. අවුරුදු 30ක් විපක්ෂයේ ඉන්න මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා දැන් ප්ලෑන් හදන්නේ. 107 අපි පව කරනවා ඉන්දියාවට වැඩි සංවර්ධන අපි වේගයක් ළඟා කරගන්නවා ලංකාව ඉදිරි අනාගතේ. ඒවා කරනකොට 2020 ජනාධිපති කවුද? රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා කියලා ඉත ආදරේ මතක් කරනවා.
ජයග්‍රහණය ස්ථිරයි. ලොකු රැල්ලක් හැදීගෙන එනවා අපේ පැත්තට. ජනාධිපතිතුමා සෑම උත්සාහයක්ම ගත්තා. මම රහසක් එලි කරන්න කැමතියි. එතුමා ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ සභාපතිත්වයේ පවා කැප කරන්න ලෑස්ති වුණා. සමගිය වෙනුවෙන් අපේ මධ්‍යම කාරක සභාව විශාල කැපවීමක් කරා. තනතුරු පවා ඔය අනිත් කොටසේ අයට දෙන්න ලෑස්ති වුණා. නමුත් ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒකට එකඟ වුණේ නැහැ.
මහින්ද මහත්තයා පසුගිය මැතිවරණයේදී ලක්ෂ 48ක් ගත්තා. එක ඡන්දයක් හරි වැඩියෙන් අරගෙන පෙන්නන්න කියලා බැසිල් මහත්තයාට ගෝඨාභය මහත්තයාට අපි කියනවා. එක්සත් ජාතික පෙරමුණ මේ මැතිවරණයේ ජයග්‍රහණය ලබනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ මැතිවරණ ජයග්‍රහණයෙන් පස්සේ අපි සාමූහිකව මේ යහපාලන අත්දැකීම පළාත් පාලන ආයතන මට්ටමටත් ගෙනියනවා.
Chief Minister of the Northern Province, C.V. Vigneshwaran, alleges that the government does not show any interest in devolving power. He made this remark at a media briefing held in Jaffna today.
தற்போதைய 13வது திருத்தச் சட்டம் போதுமானது ஒன்றல்ல. சகல விதத்திலும் நாம் செய்ய முன்வந்தவற்றை பல தருணங்களில் செய்ய விடாது தடுத்தமைதான் நாம் கண்ட அனுபவம். அரசியல்வாதிகளின் அடிவருடிகளாக செயற்பட்ட அலுவலர்கள் பலர் எமக்கு கிடைத்திருந்தார்கள். தொடக்கத்தில் மக்கள் பிரதிநிதிகளை அவர்கள் மதிக்க முன்வரவில்லை. அப்படி இருந்து கூட இந்த 4 வருடங்களும் பொறுமையை கடைபிடித்துத்தான் அவர்களுக்கு மாறிய சூழ்நிலையை வலியுறுத்தி வந்துள்ளோம். அதிகாரத்தை பகிரப்போவதாக அறிவிக்கும் மத்தி தமது அதிகாரத்தை விட்டுக் கொடுக்க முன்வருவதாக தெரியவில்லை.
Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, Maithripala de Silva, says that a homegrown solution must be introduced to the alleged problems of Western influence on Sri Lanka's reconciliation process. The minister was addressing an event in Badulla yesterday.
අද මේ රටේ දේශපාලන ව්‍යුහය ගැන බැලුවොත් එහෙම ජාතික දේශපාලන පක්ෂවලට වඩා බලවත් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ වෙනත් කුඩා දේශපාලන පක්ෂ. ඔවුන්ගේ බල කදවුර වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ජාතිය ආගම පදනම් කරගත්ත දේශපාලන දර්ශනය. අර කොංග්‍රසය මේ කොංග්‍රසය මේවා ගත්තොත් මේවා ජාතිකත්වය පදනම් වෙලා මිසක් සංහිඳියාව මත පදනම් වෙච්ච දේශපාලන පක්ෂ නෙවෙයි. ඉතින් අද පෙර තිබුණු පරිදි බටහිර රටවල් හෝ ඇමරිකාව හිම ලෝකයට විවෘත කළා නැහැ. අපි විතරයි හැමදේම මේ විවෘත කරන්න යන්නේ. මේ විවෘත නොකරපු උදවිය තමයි මේ සංකල්ප ඇවිල්ලා මේ සංහිඳියාව ඇති කරන්න ඕනි, මෙහෙම වැඩ කරන්න ඕනි. හැබැයි ඒ රටවල් වල සංහිඳියා සංකල්ප අපිට පේන්නේ නැහැ.
President Maithripala Sirisena expects to make an official request from his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, to cancel the temporary restriction on importing tea from Sri Lanka. Addressing a public gathering in Uhana, President Sirisena said that a group including Subject Minister Navin Dissanayake will be leaving for Russia today.
අපි මේ ගැන සොයා බැලුවා. පුද්ගලික සමාගමකින් තමයි මේ ක්‍රිමියා ඇතුල් වෙච්ච මේ තේ රුසියාවට යැවීමේ ඒ තොගවල තිබිලා තිබෙන්නේ. අපි ඒ සමාගමට විරුද්ධව සම්පූර්ණ පරීක්ෂණයක් කරලා ඒ සත්‍යතාවයක් තිබෙනවා නම් ඒ සමාගමට විරුද්ධව සම්පූර්ණ අපි නීතිමය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගන්නවා. පරීක්ෂණයෙන් ඔවුන් වැරදිකරුවන් වුණොත් ඔවුන්ගේ සම්පූර්ණ තේ අපනයන බලපත්‍ර අපි අහෝසි කරනවා. අද රාත්‍රී මගේ විශේෂ නියෝජිතින් දෙදෙනෙක් විදියට නවින් දිසානායක ඇමතිතුමාත් රිෂාඩ් පත්තුන් ඇමතිතුමාත් සමග නිලධාරීන් පිරිසක් රුසියාව බලා යනවා මේ තිබෙන තත්ත්වය පිළිබඳව කරුණු පැහැදිලි කරලා තේ අපනයනට ඇති වෙලා තිබෙන තීරණය රුසියානු රජයෙන් වෙනස් කරගන්න. රෂියන් ජනාධිපති ව්ලාඩිමිර් පුටින් මහතුමාට මම පුජ්‍යලිකව ලිපියකින් දන්වන්න මේ විදිහට සාකස් කරලා තිබෙනවා. මම හෙට ඒ ලිපිය යවනවා. මේ තත්ත්වයේ සැලකිල්ලට අරගෙන අපේ මිත්‍ර රටක් වශයෙන් සහනයක් ලබා දීලා ඒ තීරණය වෙනස් කරලා අපේ අපනයන තේ කර්මාන්තයේ විශේෂයෙන්ම ප්‍රධාන තේ මිලදී ගැනීම කරුවෙක් විදිහට පෙර පැවති තත්ත්වයට මේ තත්ත්වය සකස් කරන්න කියලා මම ඉල්ලීමක් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Russia is the largest foreign buyer of tea in Sri Lanka and 23% of its tea requirement is supplied by Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka annually exports about 35 million kilograms of tea to Russia, which is 25% of Sri Lanka's tea exports as a whole. Russia, however, temporarily restricted the importation of all agricultural products from Sri Lanka, including tea, with effect from midnight today. The restriction was imposed due to finding an insect known as the cupra beetle in the packaging of a consignment of tea imported from Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, Minister of Plantation Industries Navin Dissanayake contacted the Russian ambassador to Sri Lanka via telephone to discuss the temporary restriction. The Russian ambassador said that this is a decision made over technical matters and it is appropriate to send a team of officers to Russia to discuss the matter. We inquired from the subject minister Navin Dissanayake on the situation.
දැනටමත් රාජ්‍යතාන්ත්‍රික මට්ටමින් රුසියානු රජයත් සමග මේ ගැන අපි සාකච්ඡා පවත්වනවා. බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේ ප්‍රශ්නයට ඉතාමත් ඉක්මනින් විසඳුම් ලබා දෙන්න. මෙම ප්‍රශ්න දීර්ඝකාලීනව යන්නේ නැහැ කියන සහතිකය මම ජනතාවට ලබා දෙනවා.
Meanwhile, chairman of the Tea Board, Rohan Petiagoda, states that there is a possibility that the subject minister may not leave for Russia. Instead, a delegation representing the Agricultural Department, Tea Board and the Tea Research Institute could leave for Russia to address the current situation. Speaking to Derana, the chairman of the Colombo Tea Traders Association, Anselm Pereira, said that the temporary restriction will not lead to the clearance of existing stocks in the port of St. Petersburg. However, tea exports from Sri Lanka will be temporarily suspended with effect from midnight today. Minister of Special Assignment Dr. Sarath Amunugama also expressed his views regarding the situation.
මේක අපේ වැරදක්. මොකද ඒ තේවල යම් කිසි දූෂණයක් සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මගේ හිතේ ඇමතුමා ගිහිලත් කරුණු තේරුම් කරලා මේක අහඹු සිද්ධියක් කියලා පෙන්නලා දුන්නාට පස්සේ තත්ත්වය හරියයි. දැන් ලංකාවේ මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙනවා. පොරට තේ මේවා කරනවා, පාට දාපු තේ දානවා, තේ කුඩු යවනවා. ඉතින් ඒක හොඳ.
A protest was organized in Haputale today against an incident where an individual was killed in an elephant attack.
The protest against elephant attack was organized in Haldu Mueller, Marangahavela area in Haputale today. Residents in the area complained that officials did not heed their continuous requests to establish an electric fence for protection against similar elephant attacks. The protest caused traffic congestion in the Badulla-Colombo main road for several hours. The protesters, however, dispersed once the divisional secretary of Imbulpe pledged to solve the issue within a month. Meanwhile, an elephant died after succumbing to bullet injuries it received several days ago. The incident took place in Mathirigiriya within Somavatiya National Park. According to the Wildlife Department of Giritale, 70 elephants have been killed within the Mahavali zone during the year. Meanwhile, wildlife officials were able to discover another elephant carcass near the Paligama tank in Karualagaswewa. The elephant had died several days ago. The Department of Wildlife Conservation meanwhile transported the Galgammo tusker to Horopatana Wilderness today. The tusker had been damaging houses and other properties in Galigamur over a few weeks.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Derana 24/7.
Welcome back to the news. Sri Lanka will be among countries in the Asia and Pacific region to newly benefit from an expanded Asian Development Bank microfinancing program. ADB's board of directors raised the limit of an existing microfinance risk participation and guarantee program by an additional $100 million in assistance for its microfinance institutions across Asia and the Pacific recently. The microfinance program is implemented through a risk participation and guarantee structure. Since 2010, ADB's microfinance program has supported $622 million in new loans and an additional $327 million in co-financing. The additional financing will help the program expand into new markets in the region such as Sri Lanka, Myanmar and Pakistan. Bitcoin investors expect futures volume to perk up when CME Group, the world's largest derivatives exchange operator, launches its own contract to wager on the cryptocurrency today. The second US Bitcoin future launch is seen as another step towards big institutional investors warming up to a volatile asset that had until recently been accessible only via largely unregulated markets. Like the futures contract launched last week by rival CBOE Global Markets, CMEs will be cash settled, but it will be priced off an index of data from several cryptocurrency exchanges instead of just one. Stock market analysts witnessed a lackluster activity at the Colombo Bourse and expects the trend to continue over the new week due to the festive season. Dimata Matthew from First Capital Holdings brings us the market forecast for the coming week.
Amidst the upcoming festive season, we expect a complete slowdown in the market activity with low level of turnover and volume. Local and foreign activity is expected to slow down similar to this week. Market is likely to be stagnant at the same level as trades are likely to take place with low volumes. However, we expect some bargain hunting to be prevalent, primarily in the blue chip counters.
On to international news now. Australian police said they arrested a man accused of working on the black market to sell missile components and coal to other countries on behalf of North Korea. The case against the suspect, who has lived in Australia for more than 30 years, is the first of its kind in the country. He could face up to 10 years in prison and has been denied bail. The suspect, identified as 59-year-old Chan Han Choi, a naturalised Australian citizen of Korean origin, was arrested in Sydney yesterday. He has been charged with brokering illegal exports from North Korea and discussing the supply of weapons of mass destruction. Police allege he has broken sanctions from both the United Nations and Australia, adding that there was evidence that he had been in contact with high-ranking officials in North Korea.
We think he's acting as basically as an economic agent on behalf of North Korea. I think at the end of the day he would sell whatever he could to make money back for the North Korean government.
Meanwhile, commenting on the arrest, Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull called for strict enforcement of sanctions on North Korea over its nuclear weapons program.
And this is a very, very important arrest. The charges that are being laid are of the gravest nature. The more economic pressure that can be brought on North Korea, the sooner that regime will be brought to its senses.
A lawyer for a team set up to aid US President Donald Trump's transition into the White House has accused Special Counsel Robert Mueller of unlawfully obtaining thousands of emails. Special Counsel Mueller is investigating allegations of collusion between Trump's presidential campaign and Russia. Corey Langhofer, who works for the Trump for America group, made the comments in a letter to congressional committees. Trump for America used a government agency, the General Services Administration, for their offices, equipment and email hosting in the period between President Trump's election and inauguration. Langhofer says the GSA unlawfully supplied records to Special Counsel Mueller's investigation team, adding that the GSA court did not own or control the records in question, unquote, and the constitutional rights of transition officials were violated. A spokesperson for Mueller, however, said the appropriate criminal process had been followed. A French sailor has set a new world record for the fastest solo around-the-world navigation, beating the previous record by more than 6 days. Francois Gabart finished his circuit of the globe early today, setting a time of 42 days, 16 hours, 40 minutes and 35 seconds. He completed the journey non-stop, confined to his yacht since the 4th of November. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news across the world.
An attack on a church in the southwestern Pakistani city of Quetta killed at least 5 people, injuring 16 others today. A suicide bomber blew himself up at the church gate, while a second attacker opened fire on worshippers, prompting a police operation in the area. Powered by fierce winds, a raging wildfire in California grew into the third largest in state history, leading to forced evacuations. High winds and dry conditions were expected to remain to power the so-called Thomas Fire in Southern California, which has destroyed more than 1,000 structures and threatened 18,000 more since erupting nearly 2 weeks ago. A landslide caused by torrential rain buried a village in southern Chile, killing at least 5 people and destroying dozens of houses. 15 people are missing and the area has been declared a disaster zone.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.
India in the one-day international series in their favour once again as they defeated Sri Lanka by 8 wickets at Visakhapatnam. With the victory, India marks its 8th successive ODI series win for India. Winning the toss, Indian skipper Rohit Sharma decided to bowl first. Opening the innings for Sri Lanka, Danushka Gunatilaka could not survive at the crease as he fell off for 15. Upul Taranga, pairing up with Sadira Samaravikrama, built up a 121-run partnership for the second wicket. Taranga's unfortunate dismissal at 95 was the beginning of the collapse of the Sri Lankan innings. Sri Lanka's last 7 wickets fell for just 55 runs. The visitor could only score 215 for the loss of all wickets. Chasing 215, the Indian skipper fell first for Akila Dhananjaya. Shikhar Dhawan's ton led India to an easy victory for the loss of 2 wickets. Real Madrid won the FIFA Club World Cup for the second consecutive year as they defeated Brazilian side Grêmio 1-0 in Abu Dhabi yesterday. Superstar Cristiano Ronaldo got the game's only goal, putting Real ahead through a free kick.
Both Real Madrid and Grêmio could not gain points in the first half as their efforts for a goal proved futile. However, 8 minutes into the second half, Real were awarded a free kick 25 yards from goal. Doing the job for Real Madrid, Ronaldo scored with a free kick which went through the defensive wall, putting Real ahead in the second half.
Ball inside the post. Questions to be asked.
Real Madrid became the first team in Club World Cup history to retain the title 2 times in a row and tie with Barcelona for most overall victories in the competition with 3. Overall, it was Real's 6th world title as they also won the Intercontinental Cup 3 times.
You are watching Sri Lanka's trusted news brand, Other Derana 24/7.
Let's cross over to Sadhanu Pekar at the Other Derana Weather Centre for your forecast first evening edition.
Good evening and welcome to Forecast First. Now tomorrow's temperatures will average at around 27 degrees Celsius in coastal areas and 20 degrees in the central hills. Now a low pressure region won't be seen, however strong southwesterly winds are possible. Now weather conditions across the island will be mixed with widespread showers in the northern half of the country except Anuradhapura, which will see fair weather. Now the same is true for the south. However, fair weather will prevail over Colombo and Galle. It's time now for the city-by-city forecast.
Well, make sure you connect with us on Facebook as well. You can go on to facebook.com/first@9 or on Twitter at twitter.com/first@9. And before we go, we'd like to take you to London Zoo, whose inhabitants were recently given special Christmas-themed treats for the season. Squirrel monkeys, Asiatic lions, donkeys and penguins were among the animals that were showered with treats which are designed to sharpen their natural instincts and skills. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.